Fun interview. Thank you, Mr. Tim.
We will speak to him later. We'll let you guys know. For now, though.
Right now, we want to talk about the Alfa Romeos.
Well, actually,
and the
two big things that are coming back to. We have two comebacks.
The Österreichring to its glory, now known as the Red Bull Ring. But
now, okay, let's go back to the very beginning.
Sorry.
Let's go back to the very beginning of this last race weekend, when on Thursday, and I think this has to do with the Alfas, but on Thursday, when they typically do, hang on a second, I'm gonna Mike, I'm gonna get you to show a link here.
Yeah. They do.
What do they do on Thursday? They do
the conference,
the press conference, the team principals press conference, and
principals.
we have it right here, the picture, and as you can see,
two of the seats are empty.
Two of the seats are empty. Yes, exactly, and it just so happens to
everybody else looks pretty grumpy.
They usually are it's the way that they stage it is they put the people that everybody really wants to talk about at the front.
In the front, yeah.
And then some supporting acts.
You can see the name tag on the chair there where they're expecting somebody to be sitting.
Actually,
he could be sitting there. He might not show up.
I downloaded the 1080p version of this conference.
Were you able to zoom in? You're able to enhance.
This says M. Kaltenborn.
So she was kind of.
Hembry. Kaltenborn is on the side. Yeah. Yeah. So it was the people that are missing from this picture is to the left of Claire Williams, would have been Paul Hembry from Pirelli, and then to the right, Monisha Kaltenborn.
To her right and left, respectively.
To her right and left.
But Monisha Kaltenborn was actually missing from the entire weekend.
Yeah, from the entire.
She didn't show up to Bahrain.
Paul Hembry had some. Both of them actually, like these. When you don't show up to your press commitments with the FIA, you can get in serious trouble. But. They were both excused because they had huge pressing issues. Paul Hembry, obviously, he's gonna have to try to figure out what to do and how to get Pirelli
some qualifying tires.
Yeah, to get some qualifying tires, and more interesting. Well, I mean, we know that, but Monisha Kaltenborn, her not being there says a lot because. The trouble that her team is in is so great, so insurmountable that she couldn't be there.
And it really is her team. For those that don't know, she is a co-owner of the Sauber team as well as team principal.
Yeah, she and
very powerful woman in Formula
Peter
1.
Sauber basically own the team. Now, Sauber is a team that has been in F1 for quite some time. They had quite a bit of success. I mean, for a midfielder team. Way back with Kubica, they were actually
the BMW days.
Right, they were the BMW works team basically.
Yeah.
So they were somewhat successful. They had a great future ahead of them if Kubica hadn't crashed out, etc., etc.
It's a huge crash for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, and his name, if you want to look it up on YouTube, it's spelled Kubica, Kubca, but it's Polish, so it has
Polish name.
Kubica. Anyway, so. Yes, she's missing from this, and there's a very good reason for that, and it's that her team is in big trouble.
Monetarily.
Why?
Money-wise. Can we look at that picture that I gave you?
I'm highlighting it right now.
Yeah, there you go. So they kind of... The camera... I don't know if anyone noticed, but if you've been watching the F1 weekend...
Everybody noticed this.
First of all, the Sauber team is sitting on the floor.
Not even... folding chairs or nothing.
But as well, throughout the weekend, they're probably the only team that didn't get spoken to on TV. Where, Ted...
Who were they going to talk to, man? There's... How many dudes are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
yeah, 8 or 10 of them.
Okay.
3 or 4 of those guys don't even have the uniform on.
Within this frame, exactly. Yeah, this is just like a person from wherever else. Anyway, so there's 14 people in this frame, and... when you take a look at a well-funded team or just about any other team, the garage is full of people and full of stuff. Where's their
These
stuff?
guys are probably doing double duty pit stops for both both drivers.
Yeah.
Both drivers.
Yeah, these guys are. This is not somebody's mechanic team. No, this is both of them.
So for anyone that's been following our show, Jay and I went to the Canadian International Auto Show.
Yeah.
Where Alfa Romeo.
Well, but let's not get into that now. Okay, so but just 1 second, because this is a reality now. That Sauber is without money. Like they don't have they.
Is this
they're the new Lotus?
Really though, like because they don't have chairs, that means they don't have money.
No, but it's not only that they don't have chairs.
They don't have somebody to unfold the chairs for them.
They don't have the stuff. But look, man, this is the okay. So this garage is it's for both the cars, and right here they have a bunch of screens, which is where the drivers are looking, and look at how far back you got to get to look at anything else. Mm-hmm. So you basically see from where they're sitting here on the ground, where the car would normally be, to all the way to the end of the other garage, as there's nothing. If you
can see on the side, they got their toolboxes. They have tools there. They have the right stuff to fix the car. But when you look at the other teams,
they have some tools. But yeah, if you look at a Mercedes,
benches and areas for their team drivers' brothers to sit down and hang out, and sisters and family members, and
it's not because they don't want, the Ericsson family to come. It's not because they don't want to have better stuff to work on the car.
They want to be standing on the podium.
Can't afford it. Yeah. And they showed up. We've seen indications of this for a long time. They showed up this year with basically the same car as last year. Yeah. Their only redeeming feature and the only reason why Ericsson was probably able to pull off those moves that he did in the last race, which he did a good job. Ericsson was mixing it out up there with the guys, and that's why they showed this picture, is because Ericsson was fighting, and they showed the reaction of the team. But it's because of the Ferrari engine. So they have a competent engine in the back, but other than that, that's pretty much their only redeeming feature. And it started last year, and it seems to be now that they're at a position where they're basically how Lotus were last year, or Jesus, maybe even worse.
Maybe worse.
Some analysts are saying.
You think those guys had lunch?
Well, that's the thing, man. Some analysts are saying that this team might just not be there for China. Wow. Sauber might just not.
That soon?
Yeah, that bad, because you gotta think. One thing is. They would not be actually breaking any contractual obligation with FOM, because they have one race that they can miss, technically, because the Concord Agreement only says that they have to participate for 20 races. And this year's calendar is 21 races, right? So they wouldn't basically, if they don't show up to China, Bernie can't sue them. Right. Whether Bernie would want to sue them or not. Yeah. Because what is it like?
What's that gonna solve?
Yeah. What's 10% of zero if you have no money? Like, it's still zero. But he just would not be able to sue them. Number one. Number two is China is just so far away. Yeah. Like, the logistic cost. Like, if they don't show up to China, they may have like a fighting chance for the next race, which is Russia.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So that's much closer to Europe, much closer to where they are.
Much closer to Bahrain.
Much closer to Bahrain, right?
Sochi, at least.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's parts of Russia further than Shanghai.
It's credible that Sauber will not be there the next Grand Prix, and that's how bad the situation is for them.
Yeah, it's not good.
Now,
but there's some light.
Yeah.
There's some light in the tunnel.
Is there?
As I was saying, Jay and I went to the Canadian International Auto Show. We muscled our way through, and we got the man, the head of Alfa Romeo, to speak to us for 49 seconds.
Alfa Romeo, in North America.
The whole group.
Well, no, in North America.
Yeah, in North
America. No, not Alfa Romeo at large, but Alfa in North America. But no, actually, he's Alfa Romeo right now. It's a company that is owned by in a very complicated structure by Fiat Chrysler
Group
Automotive. Yeah, so
which controls Ferrari as well.
Yeah, so Sergio Marchionne controls Ferrari, controls. They have a lot of brands, including Fiat and Chrysler, obviously, but also. Ferrari, they have, and it's a big conglomerate based out of both Italy and Detroit. They have been treating the Alfa brand as of up until recently. The Fiat Chrysler Automotives had been treating the Alfa brand as sort of in Europe, let's say 5-6 years ago even, you would basically go to a Fiat dealership and you'd have your Fiat cars and then
one or two
Alfas. One or two Alfas that were like, you could tell they were exactly the same Fiat car but with like more like fancy stuff added.
Right, okay.
So the Canadian at the Canadian Auto Show where they unveiled the Giulia, they were promoting this vehicle, and I'm sure the man that we talked to assumed he thought that we were going to talk to him about the Giulia. If you could play that clip, we did not talk to him.
So this is, just to put it in context, this is, again, Reed Bigland.
That's his name.
Yeah,
okay.
Reed Bigland. He is important. He is one of those guys he's very close to Sergio Marchionne.
Those watching here, you'll see he looks like a boss.
Yeah, he does look like a boss.
He does look scary.
and he knows how to, like, he's talking to us like this. And anyway, but he's he's a corporate guy to the bone. He's close to Sergio Marchionne, basically a controlling interest in this whole mess. And he runs Alfa in Canada. This is what he told us when we asked him about.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's coming, guys.
VLC.
Hi, just a quick one on Alfa's return to Formula One, because there had been some speculation about that, and Sergio Marchionne had made some comments. Is there any hope for us racing fans to see the Alfa badge in a car?
You see the Alfa badge right now
on the Ferrari
car. We got the Alfa badge on the Ferrari car. For right now, that's about as close as we're going to get right now in Formula One. Is we got the Alfa badge, as you guys have correctly seen, on our Ferrari Formula One cars. But as far as Alfa getting into Formula One, certainly nothing to announce right now.
2017, maybe.
I think we'll focus in on getting the car launched right now, and then we'll see what happens. But as you guys are well aware, if you're familiar with Alfa, certainly racing is embedded in the Alfa DNA. Yeah. Right now, let's get the Giulia in market, and then we got a couple of other cars behind that.
Fantastic, thank you.
There we go. Okay, so I want you to like mute it and then go back like a few frames. Okay, yeah, that's a bit further out. Just a bit. There. That's perfect. Okay. Was this not maybe just more than a month ago? But that's it.
Yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks. About 5 weeks ago. It's very recently. This is why I wanted to show this clip again.
Reed Bigland, one of the head honchos at Alfa.
We cornered the man and asked him what can we expect?
What did he say? What did you get from that interview, Mike? If I told you that F1 was gonna make or that Alfa was gonna make an F1 debut after hearing this, man, what would you say? What would you think?
My sort of take on this was that there was something he knew what was going on.
Of course,
yes,
but he didn't say it, or he couldn't say it. He wasn't allowed to say it.
That's what I said to Jay. There was a break after this. We went to have some lunch, sat down for a minute, and just talked about the morning. I was like, that guy was hiding something, man. Like,
yeah, I was like,
Alfa Romeo is coming back to Formula One.
As I was watching this, you can kind of tell when people speak when they're gathering information from a memory versus from what they've been told to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's facial things that happen, right? It's like from memory. It's like...
You see the woman in the video, if you rewatch it, to the right.
She did not want... Like, as soon as she heard that we were talking about F1, it was like... Actually, honestly...
She was his media person who we had to talk to her first. We're not going to ask about Formula One.
Yeah. No.
We sort of weaseled this question in there.
The whole Ferrari... Fiat Chrysler organization, all of the booths that we went to, the standard answer from like their minions was, as soon as we brought up the Formula One topic, it was like as if we had just said, like, thrown shit on their face. Like they were like, Formula One, no.
Yeah.
From these guys,
from Fiat Chrysler,
right?
So which is the group that owns.
So that just Alfa. Begs the question, right? That just means that they're hiding.
They
something.
were told to say, if anybody asks you Formula One, say no.
Yeah. I was gonna try to find the point where, like, as soon as you asked it, like, he was like, "There's a
No,
look."
yes, yeah. As soon as I said Formula One, he's like, "Oh my god."
You can see it. You can see it there quickly. His reaction's like, "Oh, he asked me about Formula One."
Fuck these guys.
It's funny too because before we interviewed him, there was this chick from Naked News. You know Naked News.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
They
Do the news
just
naked.
sent these that came and like asking her, like she was all like, "Oh my god, I wish my name was Julia."
Yeah.
I think
The car is called the Julia.
This is the Julia.
The Julia.
This is what they're.
Did you just turn off the TV?
I don't know how I would have done that.
It's the middle button,
Wait, which one?
the one by the light. Oh,
What? And a light bulb just burnt out in the room. What the fuck's going on?
What is going on, man?
What's going on? This room is haunted.
oh,
Oh
Dude.
wait. There we go.
no, my computer just
Okay, stop.
died.
The sound died earlier. The TV died. The computer died. The light bulb just burnt
I
out.
don't even know-
It's gone dimmer.
I'm not even sure if we're live right now.
It's dimmer.
My computer just turned off.
Oh yeah, your power burned
No,
out.
no, we're not.
Something
Oh.
happened. Maybe the power went out in the city. My laptop just turned itself off.
No, I have power from here.
No, we're good.
Power.
I'm on, guys.
Are we going? Are we live?
Are we still on?
Have the good people of the internet been witnessing this breakdown?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
They've seen it, but we're here.
My computer restarted for the third time.
Okay. So yeah. This is the frame that I want you to to leave it at. Okay.
So excuse my fingers.
Yeah.
Terrible camera work.
Guys,
right there.
F1 is there is. Come on.
F1 is saved.
Don't tell me that they're not gonna have a beautiful Alpha on F1. I long for this
Repaint
day.
that Sauber.
Oh my god. So
is this it? Is this like for you? Is this saying like there's definitely something going on with Sauber? Why is it Sauber that?
Okay, no,
is the,
Because
This-
the opportunity of the cost of that team is so low.
yeah, this
Right.
so this interview obviously apart from what he actually said with his word hole, we could tell. So right, you could tell it. Like you could tell it. I could tell it. There's something that they're hiding, and
Right.
it seemed like that all weekend that we were there.
We said that a month ago too.
Yeah.
We're not just pulling this out of our ass.
No.
If you go back to our Canadian Auto Show episode,
Yeah, we said the same
we asked
thing.
everybody about F1. This was the most suspicious answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So he definitely knew something, and Marchione is a guy that's his one above
His
is Marchione,
boss.
his boss,
His boss.
is Marchione, and he knows something. He also has, and this is the people that know
Has.
about him. He also has, but the people that know about Marchione as a guy, and it's really hard to actually find like somebody that like can figure out the guy because he's a
Slippery?
he's a smooth operator as they
okay.
call him.
It's like a modern day Enzo.
Yeah,
A modern day Enzo.
but he was a pretty pragmatic guy. He's an accountant by trade, right? So he's a numbers guy. He sees the world in a very logical way, but it seems like once he like really got steeped in the world of cars and the Fiat history and the motorsports and everything else, he holds a passion for Formula One, and he holds a passion for seeing the Alfa name. He believes that if he brings
The expression of Italian engineering.
but because
That's for real though.
if you are a watcher, like if you watch Top Gear, the old Top Gear, Clarkson's Top Gear, that's the one thing that they kept going on and harping on and on and on about was that if you really were a motorhead, you had to have owned an Alfa, because Alfas, like, they give you like this particular feel that no other car does. And if you go like deep and way back into the history of modern Formula One and the history of motorsports, you'll find that Enzo Ferrari started his career in motorsports racing Alfa Romeos. That the first champion of Formula One as we know it today was Nino Farina in an Alfa.
In an Alfa.
Second champion, we had
1950.
one of the biggest names in Formula One. The first person to be a multiple world champion
1951
was Juan Manuel Fangio in an Alfa. It's like so yeah,
already history there.
Like yeah, Alfa Romeo, huge. I like it's. The name itself, Alfa Romeo. Like it's,
and then
we say it like that, but you get some fucking white guy from
that
Kentucky.
Alfa Romeo.
Oh, yeah, Alfa Romeo.
And then Enzo, his whole inspiration of his life to start his own vehicle company was to beat them.
Yeah, to beat.
That was his deal. He's like, I race these cars. My goal, I need to build a more beautiful, more powerful, better driving car. And that's what he did his whole life.
Now
continues today.
Actually, well, one thing that when we were looking at this car, the new Giulia, it's actually like it looks like a great car. I mean, oh my god! Like if I was in a position of
it looks like a car you'd go on a road. You go on a road trip with two people in that car.
Yeah, like this is
that looks like
a beautiful car,
fun car to drive,
like a roadster or something like that.
Oh my god,
that's exactly what it is.
And Danny, you remember? I don't know if you remember, but when we were looking at this car, we noticed this particular badge here. There. It's a badge of a 4-leaf clover, like right here. If you want to point to the peoples, inside this white triangle, right? And you asked me, you said like, oh hey, like what the fuck? Like all of a sudden these
what is that?
Yeah, the Alfas are Irish or whatever. And just from cursory knowledge, I remember like no, it's got something to do with old Alfa, with their previous racing endeavors. It turns out that there is a history behind it. Just and really quickly, I'm just going to derail the conversation to point that out. Alfa Romeos, from the very beginning, from like back when they were racing, because Alfa Romeo was racing before Formula One was a thing. We've talked about how Grand Prix racing existed before Formula One.
Right.
Formula One just consolidated. There was in 1923 this the Alfa Works driver Ugo Sivocci. He was the first one to put what they called in Italian they call it the quadrifoglio.
Right.
To put the 4-leaf clover.
4-leaf.
Yeah. On his car, just as a sign of good luck. He was like it was so the 4-leaf clover was as much a sign of good luck in Ireland as it was in Italy back in 1920. So it was
whenever I see one of them, I'm like, oh fuck, that's some good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in elementary school, we like grade 2, grade 3, we used to crawl around at recess to see who could find one in the whole field.
Yeah.
I found one in my entire life.
Yeah, I found one.
I
found
one.
one.
This is it, and I lost it like the next day. I was like,
I found one. I don't have it.
It's funny also because it started with their driver Ugo Sivocci. The thing is that Ugo Sivocci was obviously what's the thing called when you believe in like this kind of shit? When you had like belief in a superstitious man. He was a superstitious man. He clearly like painted that on, but he painted it inside a rhombus instead of a triangle. The next race that he raced with it, he won, and he had a bit of a winning streak, and he hadn't had a winning streak ever. He had it after he painted the quadrifoglio in it, and then for one race. They were running out of time and he forgot, or like they just didn't get the chance to paint the quadrifoglio, and he had a big crash. So
no way! Oh my god!
Since then, Alfa, and then he eventually he died. Since then, Alfa, but this was obviously like before Formula One,
right?
Since then, Alfa put their quadrifoglio inside a triangle to kind of. Some say that they lost. The one corner to his death. Yeah, to his death.
Wow.
And since then, basically anything that has been of racing grade, as far as Alfa is concerned, they put that badge there.
So okay,
yeah.
I'm starting to see the web.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The web is. I was like, oh fuck, there is something going on here.
But this could also be like a lame attempt by modern car companies to revive a died history, the same way that Audi puts Quattro in anything that's 4 wheels. But the first thing that was the first Audi Quattro was a legendary world rally car that beat everybody and everything. Like it won the rally championship like years in a row, like 7 years in a row, something like that. But anyway, yeah. So that's the thing behind that, Danny. I looked it up. I figured it out.
And Alfa,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, again, Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili, the Lombardi automobile manufacturing company.
Lombardy, if you don't know, is like the state where Milan is.
Yeah, it's the state of
Right.
Italy.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they call it something different, but you know, like it's kind of like the state or province.
Lombardia.
Yeah.
But anyways, they might be coming back. They bring some luck to these guys. They won't have to sit on the floor anymore. They might have lunch at work. They might have their
Jesus
duties split in half,
Christ.
perhaps. The half duty, then they're now doing double duty, so normal duty.
Yeah.
And bring some luck back to the Sauber team.
This is something that I want you to show. Yeah, Mike, I just highlighted it on the book. It's just Grand Prix 247 broke the story, or you know, had something to do with the story, and they showed this, which is a rendition of what an Alfa could look like.
They would go with that red.
Well, they would have to.
maybe
they were the red cars before Ferrari got to be the red cars, right?
Oh, fuck.
And perhaps a reason that Ferrari may have decided to go back to the red and white livery this year
Yeah,
to make room for the full red,
yeah.
or full red and black, maybe.
Now, do you think
Alpha-
Ferrari would have done that? Like, I feel like Ferrari is like equal to Pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just like this
it's
is
the
we
whole
are
That's
red.
right. That's what. Yeah.
the nation of Italy is behind you, and anybody that thinks themselves of Italian, or anybody that watches motorsport that has a single inkling of like passion in them.
Think
Right.
of the way Italians do everything. Yes, with passion. You do it
And their
you do it
hands.
right.
Yeah.
You do it the old school way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olives, wine, everything they do. Their cars, their cheeses, everything.
That freaking balsamic vinegar that comes in
But
that little
comes
bulb that costs $150 a bottle. Like it's not
That's
it's not there because of if you blind tasted it and it tastes better. It's because of the passion that goes into it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That shit is 15 years old in a barrel that's way older than that.
Look at these cars.
Everything that the Italians do.
Yeah.
That's what Alfa Romeo.
So yeah, Alfa also had a
It's-
bit after they stopped being in F1. They actually had like a bit of a break where they weren't in F1 and then they came back, and this is what their car looked like. Now, this more recent incursion into F1 wasn't as successful as the first one,
Right.
right? They were a midfielder team.
Mm-hmm.
They were not in any position to win the championship, especially because by then they were already kind of owned or like in relationship with Ferrari.
Right.
So they were never going to be better than Ferrari. Ferrari by then had the fame in
Yeah.
Formula One, and it still does. So today, if it goes back to something like this, now this is basically like just a Photoshop version of Banco do Brasil. That's a big sponsor of Sauber right now. This is
Right.
one of the big sponsors of Sauber. So basically all the Sauber sponsorship is here, except for the car is red and it has the Alpha badge. But if it's something like this, where they're basically like just taking the Sauber team, buying it for super cheap for now, like they're basically like they could just, and Monisha and Peter Sauber might be in on this, where they're like just making the team seem so cheap because it has absolutely no assets that it's gonna be
Just-
cheap to buy.
That's what they did this year. They showed up to testing with last year's car, promising an evolution this year. They didn't specify what type of evolution.
At the end of last year, we had the exact same thing with the Renault, right? Renault basically bled Lotus until they were like worth nothing, where they couldn't, where their future in F1 was so.
It's pretty
at that
much
po-
gone. Right?
Yeah, at that point, the low buying cost was justified. Oh, if you have a shit, like you what are your options? Either you're not gonna race and disappear into the void, or you're gonna take this paltry amount of money. So for very, 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 very cheap in F1 terms, Sergio Marchionne might actually find himself within reach of owning a second team. And if they could put Haas in 5th place, what could they do with these guys?
Think about this. So Haas has the new Ferrari engine.
Yeah. Well, so does Sauber.
Sauber has
yeah.
the new Ferrari engine. And as I said in the first segment of today's show, Mercedes, by their data, made it public that they believe Toro Rosso, who signed an agreement to drive last year's engine, has the least powerful car on the grid.
Yeah.
Ferrari's been planning this for a while.
Oh yeah. Well,
Otherwise, why wouldn't they have the 2015 engine too?
Before they wanted to kind of in the plans, it was Toro Rosso. Like Toro Rosso could have been the next Alfa Romeo. It could have been. It could because
but
they're an Italian team.
Mateschitz, though.
They had a long-standing relationship with Ferrari before, etc., etc. That now looks less likely. And now to me,
it's a longer-standing association with Dietrich Mateschitz.
Yeah, and Sauber has a longer-standing relationship with Ferrari. Yeah. So, and they were in way friendlier terms. So I think that if I were to believe one of the two stories, whether or not Ferrari was going to bring Alfa via Toro Rosso or via Sauber is way more credible. The pieces are in place. They have two drivers that are now coming to their own. Really, Ericsson's Bahrain Grand Prix just now was like. As much as demonstration, I mean, it wasn't a tour de force like Stoffel Van Dorn, but he could be a great number 2 for a good team, like
for Ferrari.
And even though he doesn't bring money, like he might just be like the guy with the talent and the guy that is reliable, and he's gonna be there.
Sorry, Reed Bigland, we saw right through you, right through that giant chest of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was intimidating.
The buddy like works out like I don't know how that he gets any time to work out. Like he's got like one of those like like when like the fuck you have that neck,
the
shits,
the delta sized delta shaped neck.
Jeez.
He's a muscles in a suit kind of guy.
Monster.
So speaking of, I guess, returning things to glory, and Dietrich Mateschitz.
Yeah.
The Österreichring.
Pictures,
oh my god,
have come out.
We got a bunch of pictures now to show you, starting from I don't know a little while ago. Can we start with the old one. What this track looked like when Red Bull bought it in 2011. The track was overgrown with grass. The fences were falling down. There were piles of shit everywhere. Look at this. Look at this photograph. This is what part of the Red Bull ring, the A1 ring, the Österreichring, whatever you want to remember it as, looked like in 2011.
Looks like a dumpster. It doesn't even look like a track. It just looks like a road in a field by a forest.
Right. So can we look at the two paving photographs here?
Yeah.
I'll highlight them. The top two here. So it's come out this week through I guess Twitter. Somebody that lives near there. This is a repaving of one of the original chicanes of the Österreichring, the original layout of the track, the long west loop of the track. It's for those that don't know, who maybe have even seen the race, the Red Bull Ring race, the Austrian Grand Prix, the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. This is one of the shortest circuits on the F1 circuit.
Where
it
used to be a lot longer.
It used to be one of the longest. Yeah. But it seems like Dietrich Mateschitz, and can we look at the other one too? This is from the other side of the loop, the top of the hill looking back. This used to be one of the most dynamic and longest and fastest tracks in all of F1. They're like one of the pinnacles of the F1 European circuit.
No.
Comparable to Spa.
Oh yeah, no. Okay,
the hills. This could return it to that.
Here's the thing:
dynamic roller coaster glory.
At the beginning of the year, when there wasn't much F1 on track,
background.
oh yeah, the setting couldn't be more beautiful.
It's beautiful.
This also, like, you got to think that Austria is like quite an elevated country, so that's gonna come with its own particular set of requirements. But anyway, you see right now the big track and like us talking about it and whatever. Remember at the very beginning of the year when I kept talking about the Motorsport magazine podcast with like the Motorsport magazine, not motorsport.com, but Motorsport magazine. They have a podcast and they've been doing a good job with it. Like Motorsport Magazine has very senior journalists, so like guys that have been around
Forever.
For a very
Since
long time.
Dawn of time.
Since the dawn of F1 at least. And they had this couple of like really interesting podcasts with Pat Simmons from Williams, and they talked about a bunch of shit. But one of the things that they talked about one of those podcasts recently was among themselves, what kind of tracks would they like to see like come back, or what kind of tracks would they like to see racing again? And I think that the question was mostly directed as like recent tracks like Turkey or whatever, like which recent track you'd like to. But one of the most senior guys in F1 journalist, his name is Mark Hughes. He is like the editor of Motorsport Magazine, like the main guy from Motorsport Magazine. He said, you know what, I know that we're talking about like recent tracks or whatever, but if I had my way, I'd bring back the old Osterreichring, like this one. He's like, because it was this track. It allowed for a lot of action. It just the undulation. He said just about everything to do with this track.
The only thing close is Spa.
Yeah.
The only thing close to any hills at all, to any elevation changes.
And you see, like for some reason, like this may seem like a simple setup for a track, especially compared to like freaking Circuit of the Americas with the S's and everything else going on. But just the way that this track flows really allows for an F1 car to really like reach its top performance.
Yeah, when you go up and down those hills, you feel the pull left to right.
Yeah.
Go back to the other picture you just had. If you compare this is how it used to look back in the 70s, 80s. No development around. There's nothing around there. There's a few houses, a few farms, a tiny little village in the top right. If you go to the other picture on the left, you can see here how it's being built up. And if you pull up the overlay that I highlighted too, from the show book page, the overlay compared to this, what they're racing on now is, as I said, one of the shortest tracks in the circuit. And so here you can see, if you click view image,
whoa,
what?
Close this shit right away.
Close that now. So if you see here, anyone that's for the watchers, the red line there, the red line is where we are racing on now. This is what's known as the Red Bull Ring, which is very short. It's the maybe shortest or second shortest.
This is the one that used to look like a well.
Yeah. What the fuck?
They go the other way. They go clockwise, but that is what is known right now as the Red Bull Ring. And the gray line around the outside,
that's what
was known as the Österreichring, the Austrian ring. Österreich, that's how I say it.
From
Austria in German.
1977 to 1995.
Through the 70s, yeah. They raced that track from 1970 to 1995. That's right.
No, 1977. Go back, go down. You'll see. Go down.
70.
No, go down. This was 1977.
77.
Yeah, this arrangement.
This
one that they
were okay. For the first 7 years, they did maybe perhaps a more slightly dangerous arrangement without that chicane.
Yeah,
because it was too fast.
Yeah,
it was a bit too fast. Then after from 96 to 04 was known as the A1 ring.
And they only raced there like a handful of years.
Right, and then so Red Bull bought the entire property. We showed you that picture at the start with the trees growing through the fences, all run down. They bought it in 2011, and F1 has been back there the last 2 years now.
Yeah, last year was their second race. Good circuit. The races there proved to be okay, but they may have been okay races despite the circuit.
It's a short track with a lot of laps, but there's a lot of elevation change, a lot of up and down. Something interesting, been talking about MotoGP.
Yeah.
This year, 2016, this track is being added to the calendar.
But look, man, these pictures are telling because this, like you're saying, that's the chicane, man. They're looking to build. Like, why would they put grandstands here if they weren't gonna race?
It's gonna be used. You see that all that pavement to the right, which used to be grass and trees, it's been paved over. That is going to get a Grade 1 certification from the FIA. and we will see racing around the original Österreichring.
Why not?
Wow.
Fucking let's bring it back.
Fucking
This was
right.
one of the ultimate, like, this track only disappeared off the calendar for reasons that they want to get rid of Spa now, just purely commercial things, because it's hard to get to. And honestly, in the flyer, you know how like during the F1 races sometimes, like in the prelude to it,
Luckily, Mr. Mateschitz has money.
Yeah, he's got
he
an
can
unlimited
pay for
tap.
all those tickets of people that don't show
Oh
up.
yeah, but you know, in like the big
Afford
like
that.
airplane or like or helicopter shots of the city or whatever of where the particular event is happening in F1, they usually like zoom into the city or like show what's around. When they do that for Austria, it's just like fields and fields with like cattle in it. like no, you see cattle grazing.
See, from this photo and from the other photo, as far as you can see is fields. And if you see the other picture from the 70s, at the same time, this made it, Red Bull held their air racing competition championship race was here because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Listen, so it's not a glamorous location, but that ought to not matter with how, like the quality of the racing that is going to happen there is going to make the trip out there worth it 100%.
And the beauty of the surroundings.
Yeah, you go out there, you go skiing,
fresh mountain air.
Yeah, buddy, like this is going to be great. Like I am actually very excited if they actually like do this and bring this circuit back, because this is going to be an all-time great.
So wait, are they saying this green line?
Green line
is the new one.
Is what they're working on right
now. That
now.
was the original. Yeah.
Right now they're racing on this.
Okay, the small wheel.
Yeah. The
Inside.
small wheel.
The small wheel. This is the big wheel with the weird tail.
It's
yeah.
Now, does that not say to you, like, it's pretty much like proof that Dietrich match is like, it's if he says that he's gonna pull out of F1 sometime soon, like this, come on.
He's not doing. He's not pulling out of Formula One anytime soon.
You're a liar and a sinner.
He's gonna try to get a new Ferrari engine for Toro Rosso. He's gonna push that Tag Heuer till they all blow up, and they have two Dannys on the podium.
Yeah.
And what could I do except celebrate with a beer? Two Dannys on the podium.
Danny Rick.
How many Javiers have been up there?
Never.
How many mics? Maybe one or two mics.
Hawthorne was one. Oh, there's been a few mics on the top step of the F1 podium.
Powerful Danny in F1.
Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Guys, come on. I thought you would have had that.
You weren't supposed to realize.
Unfortunate for you, I pay attention.
I was trying to take all the glory of my name.
No, it's
all
good.
mics in the world actually know each other. You just don't know it.
Shit, man. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, seriously, no. Good for them. Good strategy. Like, you know,
pave that shit. Pave the forest. Let's race there.
F1 is a world right now where like everything is just so backwards and going in the complete opposite direction of where the fans wanted to go. To find such a move of like, you know, maybe somebody out there is actually wanting to do something that's going to be great for the sport and great for the fans. That's refreshing for sure.
Costing them lots of money and not
Whatever,
caring, not
that
giving
guy,
a shit.
Just silence. That guy, he's got it. He decided.
Nothing but encouragement.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Mr. Dietrich Mateschitz, listen to us. Do it. Make this happen.
Please. I'll drink a Red Bull. And check this out. Probably, I guess, the final topic of the day. We've talked about restoring glory. Let's talk about finding glory, I guess. Bringing glory from nothing. Azerbaijan, Baku circuit.
Oh, God.
They're paving over their hundreds of years old cobblestone around the old UNESCO sanctioned historical city, the walled city, the Maiden's Tower of Azerbaijan. Starting wars. Azerbaijan is at war.
Azerbaijan. It's okay. So
with Armenia.
Azerbaijan, it's easy to overlook Azerbaijan in a world map, and not a lot of people like really hear about Armenia.
A lot of the F1 fans are pissed off.
Well,
I say let's
Blah.
race where we can race. These guys want to race. Let's fucking race there. They're building a badass track. This is, by all accounts, the quickest, fastest street-based circuit ever being built in any city of the earth in all times.
Listen, there is the argument that sport should be separated and divided and removed from politics. 100%. I am really behind that because.
But we're talking about F1.
They're two different things. Exactly. But then we're talking about F1. And what is F1 if not just pure politics? As long it's who is it that said this? I think it's Frank Williams. He said F1 is politics 6 days a week, and then you race.
And then you race on Sunday.
Yeah, you race on Sunday. Yeah. But
and you hit the gas.
But this is something serious. So for all those that you might or might not know, so Azerbaijan is a very, 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 very tiny country, and so is Armenia. But they have a long history. That part of the world where they're at, there's a long history of violence, a long history of sectarian disputes, centuries old traditions, and people that have they're very ethnically different, even though they're so close. They've always their border, the countries as they stand now, they've had this long-standing claim for this border region, and it was sort of like there was a nod before that, like, okay, you know what, like we can't agree on who actually owns this meter of land versus the other person, but we're gonna leave it alone. And as of recently, as of last week, basically, there's been some shit going on down there, and this is serious.
Fighting has resumed.
Now, this part of the country of Azerbaijan is basically as far removed as you can be from Baku, from where the race is gonna be, but the situation still stands that by the time that F1 gets there, in soon, after right around the time,
the week after Canada.
Yeah, the week after Canada.
2 weeks after Monaco.
We're talking about in a couple months, this country could be involved in full-blown war.
The last time fighting erupted, it lasted for 6 years, and thousands of people died. The area, it's sort of like when you look at the world map between Azerbaijan and Armenia, there's a dotted line of a disputed area that's not really controlled by either country.
No. They just they both agreed that they were gonna leave it alone.
It used to be called classified as an autonomous oblast region. Now it's known as the NagornoKarabakh Republic.
Keep going, zoom in. Yeah. So it's like somewhere in here.
Yeah, kind of where your mouse is to the right. That whole area there.
Yeah.
And right up around Zuluf Kuari Lashin, that's where the fightings happened. It's known as the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. Yeah. Covers about 4,400 square miles. It's a huge area. Jeez. Not really sure why they're fighting over it, to be honest.
It's to poke the bear, man, because the Azeris are friends with the Russians.
That's ours. It used to be ours.
The Azeris are friendly with the Russians, and the Armenians are friendly with the Americans. It's
proxy wars, man.
Yeah.
See, but you see where Baku is.
Baku is as far removed as it can.
Baku has a nice
buffer.
A nice buffer. They have a nice bay that's protected from the ocean torrents and from everything. It's beautiful there. Nice weather.
Lots of money.
Beautiful sailing.
Oil.
Nice fishing. So yeah, oil. Beautiful hotels. Amazing racing.
Well, hopefully. I mean, Jesus Christ, we haven't seen it race there, but I think I'm still excited like you are.
It must be said though, since a few days ago, 30 people have died in conflict. 18 Armenians and 12 Azeris. Some helicopters and drones were shot down.
Yeah, it's gonna be
30 people died.
We're gonna keep an eye on that. But if they have to drop the Baku Grand Prix, it would be a shame for us fans But I guess it's important that everybody stays safe, I suppose.
What's sort of
I want to see the race.
protocol of like a canceled race to that sort of a degree?
There hasn't been many cancellations of races because now everything is so commercialized that to break one of those contracts, like,
Yeah.
they'll go rate.
It
would have like the
You know what would be the
conflict,
most ironic thing?
The conflict would have to be like maybe here for them
Yeah.
to even consider shutting the race down.
Right.
I posted this on Reddit just as an open query to anyone. Has there ever been a Grand Prix held in a country at war on its own soil?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, America's at war, Britain's at war, or NATO countries are at war all the time. But on its own soil at war, I don't think it's ever happened.
This could be a first.
I do, but
Could be a first for Formula One to solve world conflict, though.
Yeah.
I want to see this race, but I'd rather see the race dropped than bombs and shit like that. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No one should die.
Yeah.
Not even the drivers.
No.
What?
Well, if you ask that to Bernie Ecclestone, though.
What are they even do?
What is wind sacks? What is?
We're just reporting the news though from the internet.
Yeah, that's
We
what
just
we
care
do.
about the racing. I'm sure they can work it out.
If I have to go with one less race this year, I'd be sad, but I'd get over it. 100%. I still want to see a race in Baku though, just because.
Yeah, of
everything
course,
that
it
they're
looks
doing.
awesome. I've been following this one closely. It's new.
Just say what you
It's new.
will
It
about
looks
it.
powerful. It looks fun. It looks the badass track, big hills,
Yeah.
classic city.
We will definitely keep you guys up to date of what's going on with this situation in Baku, even if nobody else is. All right, and if you made it to this point of the show, you are an absolute
Congratulations!
Trooper.
We love you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Press the thumbs up.
Yes.
Hit subscribe. Enter the contest.
Yes. What's the contest again?
Send
Real
us
quick.
your entry.
Create a piece of art about
Yes.
the Canadian Grand Prix. I got it right this time.
And you might get an entry to the Canadian Grand Prix. We're basically giving away 2 tickets, 2 full weekend passes, general admission for the Canadian Grand Prix. Just send us in any way you want. You can email us at contest@FlatOutFever. You can tweet us. You can contact us on Reddit. We are Flat Out Fever on Reddit. Contact us in any way you want. Just get your contest entries. You might be able to win this. And you are good to send your entries out till the end of this month. Other than that, we're going to have the next Grand Prix at Betty's. More details about that on our website, and we will, of course, bring it up again on our next show.
Chinese Grand Prix won't be live because we're in Toronto. But we'll show it as early as possible that weekend, that afternoon.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be from about 2 o'clock, from 2 to 6.
No, we'll be back next week anyways with the China preview, Shanghai preview show.
And for now, it is
That was Flat Out Fever.
toodaloo for now. Mike?
FlatOutFever.com, Twitter, Reddit, show at Flat Out Fever.
Oh, and listen to Babu.com if you like this song.
Boom.
Their new video is coming out on Exclaim magazine. They're gonna break it to the public. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not.
It's fine.
All right.
I'm glad you did.
And thanks again, TSN, Tim Horaney, for talking to us today. See you next week.